In this video, we're going to be working with a SQL Server database that's deployed on premises, and we're going to be moving that to the Cloud Block Store, which is running in Amazon Web Services. The first part of the demo we'll be working with is the on-premises deployment of SQL Server, and then next we'll be moving over to the Cloud Block Store. Here we have SQL Management Studio, and we can see here that we have a database and we have a demo table called Cloud Block Store. And what we're going to be doing is actually selecting some records out of there, and you can see that there are no records. The table's empty. We're going to begin inserting records into the database. So now you can see that the insert query is executing. And if I go back and I start selecting from that table again, you'll notice that we now have records starting to come in. And once again, you can see that it's constantly inserting data. The next thing that we want to do is go over to our on-premises flash array, which is an M20. And here we can see the dashboard view. If we go over to storage, we can see that we have a Cloud Block Store that's actually connected for asynchronous replication. Moving over to the hosts, we'll go and find our SQL Server host, and there's SQL Server prod server 1. And on that particular host, I have connected two different volumes, Node 1 data and a vvol. And if we go over to our protection groups, you'll see that we don't have any protection groups by the name of SQL because we'll be dynamically creating them. There's a script that's been written called start on-premises to cloud. The first thing that we do is connect our flash arrays, so we're connecting both the on-premises and the Cloud Block Store. The next set of steps are to see what available SQL Server volumes we have and the available hosts. The next thing is we'll take that SQL production vvol and create a new volume out of that. Now I have that particular volume connected to the SQL Server host. And now I'm dynamically creating the protection groups with the members and also forcing a replication. Then we online that particular volume as we're going to connect up the actual database back to the same instance. And you can see here that we now have an E drive, which is the snapshotted volume that we created. And now if I go ahead and execute, you can see that we are still actively inserting rows so that we have active IO. And if I just refresh the databases, you'll see that there's my dev instance that's actually come in. The dev instance was added dynamically through PowerShell. There's our Cloud Block Store table. And if we go and select records from that, you'll see that we have 94,000 rows. That was a snapshot that was taken just before. That concludes the first part of the demo. Now we're going to move over to the Cloud Block Store. Once again, very similar. We have a database that's already there, which is a data warehouse. And now we're going to dynamically go ahead and take all the same stuff that we replicated and do a restore onto the Cloud Block Store. Once again, we connect up the flash arrays. And now we check to see what available server volumes there are, what available hosts. And now what we're doing is basically taking that replicated volume and creating a new dev copy out of it, and then connecting that up to the actual host. So here you can see the prod dev copy volume has been connected. And then once again, we dynamically connect the AdventureWorks database up. Coming back to SQL Management Studio, we do a refresh, and there is that database that we just pulled over. And once again, going into Cloud Block Store table, we can also run a query, and you'll see that we have exactly 94,199 rows of data. We can then start inserting records into the dev test database that we connected up. And again, we're now able to insert records directly into that database, which is based upon a volume snapshot. This concludes the demonstration and showing how easy it is to take your databases from on-premises and move them into the Cloud Block Store running in Amazon Web Services.